Hello everyone, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Keisha and today I'm going to be starting a Regency romance vlog. So I don't think that I've ever read, or at least read and enjoyed, a Regency romance, and so I decided to do a vlog where I try some, and I was inspired kind of twofold. So the first way that I was inspired is by my friend Yvette, who loves Regency romance books and movies. She loves Pride and Prejudice. And so I had read Pride and Prejudice in high school and I hated it. Sorry if you love it, but I hated it. And I think part of it was because it was required reading, but the other part of it was also because I just didn't understand what I was reading. It's kind of written in Old English, or maybe not Old English, but some ancient language. No, I'm just kidding. But I didn't like jive with that. And I also just thought that it was a boring story because it was very simplistic in nature. And as a high school senior, I just didn't find it very appealing. However, years and years down the road, Yvette has finally convinced me, or she had finally convinced me to watch Pride and Prejudice. She watched it with me, and we watched the one with Keira Knightley in it. And I have not seen any others other than that one, but I absolutely fell in love with it. I caught myself crying a couple of times toward the end, and I could not have watched it without Yvette because there were some things I wasn't picking up on. So she would check in with me and explain everything to me. We watched it together and it was such a wonderful experience. So that is the first reason why I have been tempted to try some Regency romance. And the other reason is because, well, actually I guess there's three reasons, but the other reason is because I have noticed that there have been some Regency romance type themes, or maybe not exactly Regency romance, but things that make me think of it in other books that I've read. So for example, the Selection series, the Belladonna series, and so because of that, I thought I might be okay. But then I'm going to tell you the first book that I'm going to read for this vlog. It may be the only book that I read for this vlog, and if it is, that's totally fine, but I did pick out three just in case I'm feeling lucky, you know. But Oshina from Oshina Gotta Read 'Em All talked about this book that I'm about to introduce to you, and all I can remember her saying about it was how funny it was. And I'm like, if I can get a book that gives me fun, like Courtney Walsh, banter, humor, and sweet romance, I want it. So that book is A Noble Masquerade by Kristi and Hunter. This is a clean, I think it may be Christian fiction too. Yeah, it's by Bethany House. So it is a clean Christian Regency romance. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it's about. I have been told that this sounds like every other Regency romance, but this is going to be my first one of like really trying them. So, Lady Miranda Hawthorne acts every inch the lady, but inside she longs to be bold and carefree. Approaching spinsterhood in the eyes of society, she pours her innermost feelings out, not in a diary, but in letters to her brother's old school friend, the Duke of Marshington. Since she's never actually met the man, she has no intention of ever sending the letters, and is mortified when her brother's mysterious new valet, Marlowe, mistakenly mails one of the letters to the unsuspecting Duke. Shockingly, this breach of etiquette results in a reply from the Duke that soon leads to a lively correspondence. Insecurity about her previous lack of suitors soon becomes confusion as Miranda finds herself equally intrigued by Marlowe, a man she has come to depend upon, but whose behavior grows more suspicious by the day. As the secret goings on at her family's estate come to light, one thing is certain: Miranda's heart is far from all that's at risk for the Hawthornes and those they love. It sounds wonderful. Like, I love that concept, and yeah, I'm just like, I have high hopes. So I hope that this goes well. This, again, may be the only Regency romance book that I read during this vlog. It depends on how I'm feeling. This is the main one that I had on my TBR, but I do have two others that I may read. Am I gonna try to reread Pride and Prejudice? Maybe. I do want to at some point. I got this really, really beautiful edition from Amazon. I know they have the new Puffin and Bloom editions, and I did look at those and I almost got one. I actually ordered it, and then I decided to unorder it and order this one instead because this just screams what this book is to me. Each chapter header starts like this. So this just, to me, also gold spray edges, screams classic Pride and Prejudice. So I got this. This is about, did I watch the movie? Can I tell you what it's about? Mr. Darcy, Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, and their romance of kind of like an enemies to lovers situation. You know, there's a hand flex and things in the movie. Is that in the book? Don't tell me. I'll wait until I read it, but I hope that I can do this. I'm going to try it with the audio, but I do have that one. And then the last one that I purchased that I probably will not get to, but again, it is one I want to get to at some point if I like Regency romance, is Love Practically by Nicole Van. This is the first book in the Pen Leads of Thistlemere book series. I don't even know if I said that right. But I love this cover. It's beautiful. And it's also, I don't know if it's Christian. It's self-published. I think it's also Christian, but it's at least clean. I'm pretty sure. It says Fiorenza Publishing. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's at least clean. I'll tell you that. So, because I'm not bringing things that aren't clean into my house much these days. But let me tell you what this one's about. As a young woman, Leah Penleith fell hopelessly in love with Captain Fox Carnegie. I love that his name is Fox. The only irrational mark on her decidedly sensible life. Fox, unfortunately, did not return her regard. Their story should have ended there. After all, Fox left for India and Leah returned home to Scotland to rear her much younger brothers. But 20 years later, Fox appears on Leah's doorstep, older, scarred, and world-weary, proposing a marriage of convenience between them. He needs a mother for his young ward, and Leah, with her capable good sense, comes highly recommended. What woman could say no to such a proposal? Not Leah. Fox has always destroyed her ability to think rationally. But after their marriage, Leah confronts the chaotic reality of Fox's life. His castle, 10 miles up a rugged highland glen, is shambolic. His ward, Madeline, is a precocious handful. Fox's time in India is shrouded in rumor and mystery. Worst of all, Fox himself is distant and broken. His personality as altered as his scarred body. Throughout it all, Leah is left with two questions. What happens to a woman after her most cherished fantasy comes true? And can a marriage begun in practicality transform into something deeper? Something like love. So those are the 3 books that I may or may not read in this vlog. Like I said, you can bet your bottom dollar I will at least read this one, and I will let you know what I think. Am I going to be a Regency romance girly? Come along with me and find out. All right, I'm here with my first update for A Noble Masquerade. I am 55 pages in. I'm on chapter 5. And so far, I'm a little bored, to be honest, which I don't know that I expected that. I think, okay, I need to start leveling my expectations more. So, like, I'm 55 pages in, and I kind of expected to have laughed by now. But I don't find anything funny. I don't find anything. I'm just kind of bored. So maybe Regency romance is not going to be for me. I'm not really sure. I do like Regency romance elements, but like with other things involved maybe. So as I mentioned before, like the selection series, there was more going on than just like, I don't know. And then maybe, and I say I like slow burn, but I think I need a little bit more banter, something. I don't know. Which I'm only 55 pages in, and this is a pretty lengthy book. It is
like 360 pages. So we'll see. I'm going to give it some more time and figure out what I think about it. I do want to give it a little bit more of a chance. But right now, I'm just kind of like, I mean, I like the main character. I like Miranda, but I don't know. Like, we'll see. And there's a little bit of a mystery going on here. There's something that's not as it seems it is. And so that's intriguing also. But I don't know. I just am feeling kind of meh about it right now. So I don't know. We'll see. And then if I don't like this one, I don't know if I'm going to like the other ones or not. We'll just see. This could be a dud, but maybe it won't be. I don't know. But that's my thoughts so far. I don't really have anything to say about it. The writing's fine. The characters are fine. The story's fine. It's just kind of like, I don't really care yet. So I wanted a little bit more from it at this point. I like how Courtney Walsh, I can't compare everything to Courtney Walsh, but I do sometimes. And I don't need to because this is not the same thing. But I like how in her books, it just starts off immediately with the banter, with like the meet cute, with whatever's happening. This is different, obviously. It's a Regency romance. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to keep trudging along and update you when I have more thoughts. Good morning. Quick update on the book. So I ended up making it like 70-ish pages in. And about 50-ish pages in, I was really unsure about it. But now, like 20 more pages into it, I feel like maybe we'll be okay. So we shall see. But I don't know yet if I'm going to like Regency romance. But right now, it's kind of like just setting the scene. And I don't really know a lot about like Regency era, or I don't know if I should call it royalty or anything like that. I don't really know a lot about the politics or anything like that. So it's kind of a little bit of a new thing for me. I know very minimal. So I don't know if that's going to dampen my enjoyment at all or not. But some things have happened now. I was actually listening to some of it while I was playing Dreamlight Valley after I got off sprints last night. And I heard something and I was like, oh. And so that was the turning point moment for me. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to get interesting. It's giving me vibes of something else, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because that could potentially be a spoiler. But yeah, so I will keep you all updated on thoughts, but I don't know how many I'll have as I read it. And I also don't know if I'm going to continue reading more books after this. So I guess you'll probably be able to determine based on how long this vlog is, but I'll check in and let you know. Hi friends, happy Saturday. So far, and you guys wouldn't know this because obviously you're only seeing these clips, but I have not read in a few days, and instead of reading, I have been playing Dreamlight Valley on my Switch and spending time with my hubby, and that has just been so life-giving for me lately. So I'm still not too far in a Noble Masquerade, and I will say that like my not initial thoughts, I mean thoughts with being 132 pages in, is that I think this is good. I don't know that it's really sucking me in. I don't know that I feel immersed in the story. I don't know that it's going to be like my favorite thing. I do think a lot of people would like this, and there's not anything wrong with it. I just don't think I'm used to reading stuff like this. So it is good. It's just not anything to write home about, if that makes sense. So some things did happen that made me enjoy it a little bit more, but I'm going to try to get some like really in-depth reading done because I just need to finish this. I have a buddy read that I'm about to start soon, and I just need to get this vlog up. So I'm probably not going to read the other 2 books in this vlog, which I kind of figured I was just going to mention that I had them. So I'm probably just going to read this and then let you know by the end. But I'm going to try to get quite a bit of this done. I do have the audiobook too, which is a really good audiobook as well if you're interested in reading the book. So I may read some with my eyes and then just listen some and play more Dreamlight Valley. Okay, I have finally finished my book. I apologize in advance for not giving a lot of updates on this one. I think that this was just easier for me to read and review after versus having a lot to say throughout, but I do kind of want to recap this now. So first I want to talk about all of the positive things. I really like our main character, Miranda. I like how she kind of pushes outside of the norm for a lady and how she is just very brave and courageous. I love how she talks to the Lord and just kind of depends on God for things, and she prays a lot, and I love that. I don't feel like it's overdone or cheesy at all. It's just very pure and how I would foresee a Christian to live their day to day, just like trusting in the Lord for everything. And I can say the same thing about the character that she ends up, I have to be careful how I say this. So the character that she ends up in a romance with, I don't want to spoil anything. So when I told you guys at the beginning of this, there was a correspondence that happens between her and the Duke of Marshington. But then I also mentioned that there is Marlowe, who is her brother's new valet, and she also starts to have feelings for him. So I will say that if love triangles are not your thing, don't let that deter you from this book, because this is not going to be what you think. So don't let that deter you. And I'm saying that because I really want my friend Yvette to read this. So Yvette, if you're watching, I do think you would really enjoy this one. And I also want to say if Lauren or Caitlin are watching and haven't read this, I think you guys would probably really like it too. It has really great faith elements in it, as far as just, I think there were 2 or 3 scriptures that were told throughout this to just like guide the characters. And there was also, with the 2 main characters, mentions of God a lot and just how they were trusting him in different things. And if they were in situations, that were not great, they would just pray. And I love that element so much. So this is great Christian fiction. So like Christian romance. And it was clean. It's only kissing. I'm trying to think what else to say about it. So it was very like straightforward with what was going on. There is like some things maybe you won't expect, but I think a lot of it was pretty predictable. I love the letter writing element of this. I love the epilogue of this at the end and how it kind of wrapped things up. I enjoyed, I guess, like the Regency setting, but I don't know that I enjoyed all of the intricacies of what a Regency romance is, just because I'm not really used to having a book just focus on that. I think the books that I've read that have Regency elements have been fantasy. And so I think I maybe like Regency elements that are tied in with something else. I don't know if I like just pure Regency as much. But I do think this was very well done. I think this is a book I can recommend to everybody. I think that most people will generally enjoy this, especially if you want like a clean Bridgerton or a clean Regency romance. This is definitely one that I would highly recommend. I am going to try some more Regency romance. However, in this vlog, I'm just not going to have time to do it. I don't think I'm really in the mood to pick up Pride and Prejudice or Love Practically, and I'm actually about to start a buddy read with some friends. So I may do a reading Regency romance vlog part 2 and see where we go from there. I also want to mention that other than a romance in this book, there is a mystery going on a little bit as well. So if you like a little bit of a mystery element, that is also a great thing that happens in this book. As far as my expectations for this book, I do think they were a little bit high, not knowing how I felt about Regency romance. I did not laugh out loud. I did smile at a couple of things, and I do think the romance was very pure and sweet, and very, like, the man was very honorable and respectful and kind and just a gentleman, and so I really appreciated that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. There wasn't really anything that I didn't like about this. I liked everything, but I think I'm going to land on like a 3.5 star rating, because this wasn't anything to write home about for me. It wasn't anything that I'm probably going to remember long term. Honestly, I probably won't remember much of it. I did listen to this primarily on audiobook while I was playing Dreamlight Valley, so I think that might have taken away because my focus wasn't fully on the book. But I do highly recommend the audiobook if you want to physically read it or listen to the audio or both. I do think the audiobook is really well done. And so, yeah, I think that I'm going to land on a 3.5 star. I think it was great, but I just don't think it's anything, like I said, that I'm going to remember long term. And I would have liked a little bit more to it than just like a regular Regency romance story, because I don't know if that's enough to hold my attention. So I am going to keep this one though, and I can recommend it in the future. And I'm very thankful that I read this and kind of dipped my toe into some Regency romance. I'm really excited to try out some more. Like I said, I definitely want to read Pride and Prejudice and Love Practically. There are a couple of other Regency romances that I've heard of out there that are like Christian, and that's probably what I'm going to read. If I read Regency romance, it's going to probably be like clean and Christian. So you'll have to let me know if you have read any Regency romance. Let me know down in the comments, even if it's not clean or Christian. Just let me know if you read Regency romance, what your favorite is that you've read, or if you have any that you want to read, what you're interested in, or if I've piqued your interest in this book. I know this wasn't really like I love it or hate it vlog. This was kind of like a mid feelings, but I do want to encourage you to pick this up if it sounds at all interesting to you, because I think it's great. I think I just may not be a huge Regency romance girly, if that makes sense. So I'm glad to have tried it. I hope y'all enjoyed the little bits of this that I vlogged. I know this wasn't as drawn out as my last vlog was, but sometimes that happens. I put all of my energy into my last one and I was kind of burnt out come this one, but I will do more in the future. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you made it this far in the video, leave me some type of Regency romance emoji down below. If you don't know like what type of like royal maybe, I don't know. Leave me whatever emoji strikes your fancy that goes with that theme. I'll leave that down in the comments below. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.